Wrong level. We are back. How we doing, people? It's time for some game dev. Continue our enchanter class grind here. Probably gonna work on enchant armor because I don't think I need any new code for that. And then memory blur is after that. All right. Alrighty. Let's get into what we're working on. I do want to test something. I hit play again. It's going to give me my error where these don't load. Okay, there it is. So I wonder why something's reloading. Or, okay, so there's a conflict in load. The strange part is that it only happens on the first time. The second time it goes fast. But the initial kit load is actually, maybe I just disabled my initial kit load for players. If I go to, let me test this real quick as a random bug I need fixed. Because I no longer need any of this, I think. Or at least I can probably just skip the default. And then on the I might have to just switch this up though. So we're loading the default 1, 2, crit 0, crit 1, crit 2. We load those. That's fine. And technically, I think. So this is basically having conflict with this down here, which for the moment, as the quick workaround, I should be able to just do this here. And then on the initialize level up, we're going to do a delay. like a 3-second delay maybe. Check the experience component real quick. So when initialize level, set required level, update nameplate, action manager, check for new abilities, initialize. Level up, check for new abilities, initialize. Yeah, if I just delay that for now, it should fix it. And so if I close back out, yeah, for some reason, the very first character that loaded in would load slower, so now that one loads, and then the other ones load. Okay. And so that's kind of just a issue with, I need to update my old loading system with the new loading system as well. But at least it's fixed for now. So that's something off my list. Let me get my patch notes up. I'll put bugs fixes, and it's like its own thing. Bug fixes. Fix an issue. The first player that logged server could not use abilities. I guess I could do a little post too today. What's the post? I'm starting to learn coding. I don't know which thing to start with. I'm confused here. I just this is. I use blueprints in Unreal Engine for Ruins of Tearyn, and just didn't notice that message there. And I'll post it in vertical third as well. What the hell? All right, sorry, distracted. Was answering someone in the chat, in my Discord. And now I need to focus on enchant armor. So enchant armor will give the target a buff. Now, the one thing I need to test is if charges work with players, classes, enchanter. So we're going to start with just enchant armor on R1. And so this gives stat change enchanter, enchant armor. And we're going to, let me make sure I have all the references dealt with before I do anything. Just going to submit what I have. I don't want the Paragon stuff. Just going to close and reopen. And now brain is still working up. Where's the stat change for this guy? Okay, so we have the enchant armor, which does the enchant armor buff. And this is what's giving a passive. Now, Um, which is the thing of, I'm trying to remember. It stacks, let's say 3. Empowers. Okay, so empower wouldn't work. I'd have to have other empower things. So I'd need to basically that every time it triggers, removes a stack. So maybe I create a passive specific empower. Let me think. Because I like the idea of these being, it's enchanting the armor for like automatic oh shit buttons type thing. Because I don't want it to be necessarily an armor buff, because that's something that's more cleric oriented. And so these are more preemptively preparing for something. But they have limited powers. And so, all right, I need to go to the bathroom, and I'm going to think on this, and I should be able to implement this. Okay, so let me plan this out. So I need type. It's kind of like an ammo type thing. So this is a passive add mechanic. So it's like ammo based. Set stack counts. On 0 stacks, remove, end early. And then on proc activate, remove stack. It's pretty simple and straightforward. So the variables we'll need is obviously first we'll have just a pool of ammo based. Ammo count. I don't like using ammo. What's the other word? What's a different word for? Like it sort of stacks, but charges. But again, I don't like using charges as a word because there's so many other terms for charge. And I like to refrain the terminology as charge for charging up a spell, which is another thing I need to integrate. Oh shoot, that would be kind of interesting. Add charging up an attack with button release. Affects potential damage, debuff, etc. Okay, so in the passive stat change struct, let's change this up. All right, it's in stats, I think. Yeah. Not charge, not ammo. I'm just gonna go with stacks. Okay, so in future terminologies, you could have something. All right, I'm not gonna think about future. I'm gonna just keep it what I need right now, and I'll do future stuff later. So if it stacks or not, the value of stacks you get at the start, and then the max values, which for now will just be 0, and it turned to off. And we actually don't even need max stacks right now. So I'm going to avoid having to do anything I don't want to do right now. And basically, sorry, excuse me. I apply the enchant armor buff. They have automatically 3 stacks of X, Y, Z, and then say, damage reduction by 30%. And once you get hit 3 times, 3 it goes away. And so that's all I'm going to program right now. I'm not going to do anything else other than that. And so we're going to need to make some modifications to passives. And let's think about the best way to do this. So, actually, the best way to do this isn't even through that system. It's just set up the passive itself. And then just integrate that into the passive system. And I don't even have to set it to do anything special here. I don't have to set it through the buff system. I can just do it through the passive system. And so we'll go back to passive and just trash both of those. And yeah, so now we're going to do it through the action system. Oh, we have empower already in this. So do I have it set up already? Maybe I do have it set up already. Let's test this. So we go enchant armor. Go to the proc itself and empower. So we'll do 3. And the action name I think would be itself. Let's give that a try. Oh, need something to hit me. Let's see if it's the name of this. Yeah, maybe I do need to do it through the... This might have to be separate because it's a buff giving the thing, even if the passive removed it, it would remove itself but not the buff. So it does have to be handled separately. Okay. So back to what I did before. Yeah, so it has kind of different management areas. Otherwise, the buff is just never going to get removed. Oh, I didn't really mean to do that. Hopefully I didn't fuck up anything else. All right. Okay, so I think I have this set now. So if it's a passive, so first up, stat modify. Um, Down here, this is the passive. Oh, I didn't set the thing to the right thing. Damn it. Um, yeah. Okay, here I need to put this to an integer. Save, close. Don't save anything there. Open. All right, let's just go to the stack component. Don't need to do anything with stagger. So all the way down here, now we have stacks. Yeah, we don't need it on the remove side. And we should be able to just now pass this, the control of it. Oh, actually, no. Okay, so I need to go to the passive component. All right, I think I need to make another thing like this. Passive names. Passive stacks. And we'll set this to an integer. And then I guess we do an interface here. And we're going to have a name and an integer. And we're just going to make it function. And so we're going to get active passives. I'm going to find whatever the name is. And set array element, size to fit. And set the stacks here. It's going to be Alright, I need to just kind of slowly step through this. Get actor, passive. That's the stat change. I want the action name, I guess. Okay, and then stacks. Um, okay, for now, if I just have to do one hits. I don't know. We'll see. Let me just try and get this in at least. Set stacks. Okay, and then now we kind of go to the passive manager and actor spawn. Passive spawn. And we're going to check okay, I might need a duplicate. Make this another text. Uh, okay, so if it's true, we just pass through. Then false. going to get the value of this minus 1 if this equals okay. If this is 0, we're going to I guess remove or set. I might have to do just array element. If I remove it, it could mess up everything. Set it to nothing. I think that'll work. It's not the greatest code right now, but I'm just kind of chicken scratching it. If this is not, if it's less than or equal to 0, we clear the name out of the array, and that way it will never be able to match again. If it's false, we're doing all of this, and then setting the array element. And then we continue forward. To here. Okay, let's just write this out a little bit for my own brain. So if there are no more stacks, remove the name from stack list. If there are still stacks, subtract. Now, the issue becomes what we need above this would be purge the buff / debuff. And so let me see if I can do, I think I can do get stat component, like get owner. And we can do purge. Break or make. I guess promote the variable. Purge. Ooh. Thank you for the follow. Space Rabbit Studio. Thank you very much. How are you doing? Waking up from a nap. It's a good Sunday. Naps are nice. Had a big brunch with friends, knocked me out. Oh, sounds like a good Sunday. Nice. I missed naps. Sometimes I can't nap as much because I have like terrible sleep apnea. So I literally can't sleep without my machine. Okay, so this is going to be a purge. Nappy's not my norm, but phew, yeah. Like a full belly, especially if it's brunch, you had a little what is it called? The orange juice and whatever it's called, champagne. Maybe a little bit of that. It's negative a mimosa. Unavoidable. Subtract. We're doing purge. And then purge settings. Action specific. It's going to be, in this case, it's going to be a positive. And then we do the name. But this is where we go. Set member. Instruct. Or I guess we do this. We get our break. Then we do purge, set member. And the action names. We will make an array. And get this reference. And maybe this actually works. We actually went for dim sum. So it almost says, yeah. Now, my wife always talked about how dim sum was amazing. I've never really went to a dim sum. All right, I'm going to print this. Purge. And then, let's append. So we can see if this is getting the name right. Purge. This guy. But yeah, as a very quick kind of rundown, we're building an indie MMO. Myself, I've previously, one of the reasons why we're building the MMO is we previously, from 2019 to 2022, we built game tech called Vertical Third. We got $100,000 in rewards from Epic Mega Grants for that. And we were building it in mind to one day build an MMO. And so it just so happens that, with the state of the industry being complete shit, we have some time on ourselves. We're still looking for work. It's been like a year now. And so we decided to, work on a major project. And it's also kind of like, it's sort of that Epic Games model of, Fortnite and Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine, it powers Fortnite, and then their experience with Fortnite makes Unreal Engine better. And so we're kind of doing that same thing where we're building Ruins of Tearyn with Vertical Third, and it's going to make, Vertical Third better, and Vertical Third is something we sell on Fab for $20. Totally got you there. Gotta keep doing what you love despite the industry. Yeah. And this is just one of our projects. We have 3 projects, right? It's different funding brackets. And this one's obviously a little tough because it's 2 to 3. It's like a $2 to $3 million budget. 5 people working for like 5 years probably. And that's kind of like what we're doing. I'm new to indie-ish, but I worked in many games for many years. Yeah. So Vertical Third is a massive game architecture, and basically it gives you, I feel like it's the logical next step. You have your game engine that kind of came out in the 2010s and thereafter, and so obviously you wouldn't want to spend, in today's day, you don't want to spend 3 to 5 years building your game engine before you even start your game, right? And so that was the logical first step, but now the logical next step is game architectures. And if you're in the industry, you might enjoy the watch, but I have a few videos on this. If I go to my Vertical Third channel, I have kind of a broader breakdown, and this is not just specific to Vertical Third, but what game architectures are and like how they're going to actually kind of help the industry, like make games shorter in shorter time, like save money and in shorter time cycles. And then another dev watch is my Indie MMO tech stack as well. Oh, cool. That's awesome. And so the general idea is like if you look here, this is Vertical Third, right? So it gives you all of your proper like setup of code. I break down the character blueprint into like somewhere between 15 and 20 different components, so it's very categorized and tidy. Like the action manager is how abilities are loaded and cooldowns tracked. Then I break down the AI into like combat, logic, movement, threat. Then all characters have an animation component, crafting component, death, experience, graph data, input, inventory, loot, mesh VFX, progression, questing, scoreboard, statistics, targeting, team, all these things. And then as we go down, there's just like other assets and stuff. And like a lot of pre-done stuff. Like I have like a basic localization setup. And then I have massive, like this entire side down here is all pre-done widgets. And I can preview. And by the way, we do monthly playtests. And so if you ever want to play, our next one's at the end of the month, like the 28th to 31st or something. And I can show you the world a little bit real quick. And then I'll get into my little spiel on some of the unique things we've done with the game. But yeah, so basically we had 3 years of our kind of tech, built prior to starting this project. And the project only started at the end of 2024. And we actually went on the Unreal Engine live stream as well, with a breakdown of game direction and a little bit of create your tech stack first. Exactly. So this is just like the quick level, right? So this is something I made last month, which was I guess 2 months ago, the newbie yard. So this is what the newbie yard's looking like. And by the way, like we're 100% focused on gameplay, right? So everything you see is marketplace assets and just our creative way of using them. And so we're all we're focused on is gameplay. And so and like 25 years, you probably know, like we're very EverQuest and WoW inspired, right? So we always say we're EverQuest on WoW, had a baby type thing, and that. But we do believe in like modernized quality of life features, like having a map, and being able to see at nighttime. All those little things that are really tedious and stuff. So this is the newbie yard there, and then after you experience that newbie yard, then you have all these things, all these different camps and monsters over here to go kill and stuff. And this is your starting tavern and things. Or this is where you fast travel to this tavern here. And then I'll just open up the newbie yard directly. Or actually, not the newbie yard. I'm going to do the mechanics testing section just to show you that. So we have like 3 core features. Did you ever play EverQuest back in the day? It makes it a little bit easier to explain if you've been there before. And so we are the first couple things, like I'm getting into, I was never too much of a gamer. I just loved art and technology. Oh, that's cool. And so there's a couple, game directions we have with this. MMOs were always too much of a time sink for me. Yeah, I feel that. I love MMOs, right? And I've barely played them in the last 10 years. Partly because I just don't resonate with the current MMOs. All like the top ones right now, they just don't fit with me right now. But didn't do very well. Yeah. Many of them haven't done well, right? Like it's only like the top 6 or 7 that have actually been able to hold a player base. Maybe 10. Oh, Tabula Rasa. Wow, yeah. That was, Richard Garriott's thing. That was crazy. I never even really looked into that one because it was still like kind of a WoW indie and stuff, so I never really was paying attention to that one. But I've liked sci-fi shows a lot. Like I loved Stargate, and I loved, Firefly. Watched, plenty of Star Trek and stuff. I'm not like a massive Star Trek person, but I still enjoy it. But I've never, I don't think many people are paying attention to it, yeah. I've never really enjoyed space games for whatever reason. I've always just attached to like more medieval times, whatever you want to call it, magic and swords type games. I've never really been into space games. Like the obviously I played StarCraft, and that's like probably the most time I spent in any type of space game. But we have three core features, right? We have our combat system has a direction of number 1, we don't want you to spam buttons, because we want combat to be kind of slow and that you can chat while you're fighting. That's one of our critical components. Number 2, we don't want AoE grinding, and so it's going to be a lot of crowd control focused. And so this is the enchanter. In a lot of like MMOs, you have the trinity of the DPS, tank, healer. We have more like 5 classes or 5 archetypes where it's DPS, healer, tank, crowd controller, and then which can kind of be considered a support class. And then we also have the puller as well. And sometimes those other archetypes also kind of cover the pulling role, but we want that kind of puller mentality, and you pull monsters to the group, and they kind of fight in one spot. And so with that in mind, and our combat being slower, you have different ways to rotate your ruins. You can see your ruin at R1 right now. And so the enchanter rotates through his ruins by just casting spells. And so I cast that, it's just a stun, and now I'm on an R2. And now I can cast something else like a pet, and it's a 2-handed pet. But on that same button, my pet cast, now that I'm on R3, I can also cast it again. Now it is a dual wield pet. So it's one of those ways of having more abilities with less buttons, which we all know is in a lot of games, you're having too many buttons. And so an R1 pet is a sword and shield. And then the thing that makes it even more interesting is every 5 spell casts, you get a critical cast. And so now that pet once more, which used to be a dual wielder pet with swords, is now a dual wielder pet with these like scythe things. And so basically every button can have 6 different versions of it, depending on what rotation rune you're on and if you have a crit or not. Going back to like with stuns and stuff, if I do a bunch of these spells and I get a crit, and so now instead of a single target stun, I have a critical stun, and I can do an area effect stun in some way. So there, I did an area effect stun. So it's a lot about, we're trying to, one of the big things in current MMOs, and a lot of games in general, if you remember StarCraft, this era of StarCraft, there's this concept of actions per minute, and those people are like clicking all over the place, spamming buttons, and like it's like crazy, over 100 actions per minute. And I'd argue in a lot of MMO type games, when you're in combat, you're like matching that craziness of actions per minute. And we don't want that. We don't want you to have like carpal tunnel problems to play the game. And even in New World, like I love the core of New World. Their progression systems were bad, but boy, like having to spam click your auto attack constantly, like I felt it in my hands, right? And I'm 40, so I'm not even that old, and I'm still feeling it, right? And so I want a game that can go back to more, and you see this in strategy games a lot, where it's more of a thoughts per minute game that keeps you engaged and not bored. And the easiest example of that is through chess. And you're not moving your pieces constantly, but you're thinking about your move, your next move after that, and the next move after that. And so you're planning what spell and you're on, and you're timing as you cast your spells. And in EverQuest, like there's this concept of sitting to meditate, and so when you sit on the casters, you can rotate through your runes. So you have that like player agency of planning what to use and when. And then there's the aspect of like having positional advantages, so everything has 20% more damage from behind right now. So casters and stuff always want to be hitting targets from behind. Tanks want to turn it, so positioning is key. And environment awareness comes into kind of like the next topic, which is, and if we go to our Registry Chronicles, this is our version of merging achievements and questing together. And so if you have, if you go out and kill a bunch of stuff, instead of having to go to a stupid quest hub, get a bunch of quests and go do them, you just go out and kill a bunch of stuff. And it gives you your bonus XP or whatever. Right now it's just experience, but in the future it's going to be like abilities, like a cleric could go kill 100 undead and get Smite Undead from their Registry of Chronicles. So it's like class-specific based progression here. And I think I have something like, oh, I killed 25 elementals. Boom. Got a bunch of experience, right? So you don't have to go to Quest Hub or anything like that. And then that goes into our maps, our kind of camp system. In EverQuest, you go to a specific camp and kill stuff there and get XP and then get loot and kill bosses. And so we're rolling right into that where, you can kind of go and camp different things. You can see it on the map on where it is, where you are on the map. I see a little thing right here. It's not perfectly accurate right now, but close enough. And you can kind of find what loot you need and go, team up with people and get some XP and get loot. At the same time, we have a crafting system called Metamorphosis, where you can actually get, as you kill stuff, you get their essence, and you can make crystals that actually increase the levels of the camp. So if you're like a level 14 here, you can increase the level of those camps from 13, plus 5 or something, and it'd be level 15 to 19, and you can still get experience there while you're trying to get the loot you want. And so those kind of three systems kind of like all kind of work together, and that's kind of our core. That's like what we're doubling down on right now. And this month is making sure classes have all classes have 8 abilities to kind of do stuff with. And yeah, so that's like the bit of the spiel. You know, it's very hard to pitch an MMO in in like an elevator pitch, right? It's like I'm building an MMO. Try an elevator pitch that, right? It's yeah. Let me ramble about our systems for the next hour, and then that's our elevator pitch. All right, so I want to attempt to see if this works. I'm planning to do like trying to do a little devlog video that kind of attempts to get our current spiel down, because boy, it kind of takes my I've repeated my breakdown of everything so many times these days. Um, I need to kind of like try and shorten my spiel of everything. Um, database classes, changer. But yeah, so it's it's fun. And I really do think we have something here, and we're trying to always like just play test and get people to come test. Our big one is trying to um, really push the idea of uh, we're trying to stress test our servers is one of our big things, because everyone now wants to know, how many people can you have per server, and all of our zones, like right now we have a character select zone, a the newbie yard, and the other area are all in one server, and then we have a dungeon, and so every zone is its own server, and then we could layer them like classic WoW, where there's multiple versions of that zone to support multiple people. But we never have to worry about like 9,000 people online and a server holding them all. It's only per server that we have to worry about. That's very cool. Seems like you all have your systems, foundation in place, so you can easily create the game out of there pretty easily. And totally understand elevator pitches can be like tough. Yeah, um, absolutely. And that's exactly what we've been working on for quite some time, is our systems itself. We got like the first year from like the first year was, so when we started the project we are like a little bit on the marketing side, and so like my pinned comment is our store page. We made that trailer, and like we're just kind of like reskinning Vertical Third, right, with Cinti Studio assets and things, and um, so that was like the first from like end of 2024 to I would say January, was just reskinning Vertical Third with assets, and then from there, and then working on marketing trailers and stuff. From there, then we started to get into building the world out a little bit more, making it a bit more unique from the assets we had, um, and we actually did that Unreal Engine live stream as well. So it was we got to have that done, and that helped a bunch. And then from there, it still is a project that, it's still like less than a part-time project. I've put in a little bit more time in the last 3 months, just because like the MMO genre is like kind of there's a lot of news around MMO genres right now, and so I'm trying to get enough traction to get noticed from MMO content creators, and enough work in that makes us look unique. But it still is a project that we're not spending massive amounts of um, time on. Um, not close to part-time hours. Um, and then we have like, again, this is like our $2 to $3 million project. We have a like $700,000 project, and then a $200,000 project that we're trying to get all of those funded, and so just funding kind of sucks right now. A publisher. We're looking for publishers. The worst is when you're pitching a game you don't entirely understand. So you're looking for a VC publisher. PBT, what funding there is? Yeah, I know. It makes me so angry about like just the state of venture capital right now and how much money they dump into all this like, AI stuff, like dear God, the trends, right? Like the crypto, the blockchain, the VR, the AI, the NFTs, and just how much money is there that's just wasted, right? Like how much is just like 1% of that could have had a massive indie game boom, right? Like I don't understand how the entire startup VC industry, everyone talks about startups are, they are a massive gamble, no matter what, category of um, a business you're in, whether it's like medical or, fintech or, apps or whatever, like no matter what area you're in, they're all really small chances to win. And it's crazy to me that they don't do the same with indie games because all of those startups are they take like 100x the amount of uh, financial value to succeed versus indie games. Indie games, yes, there's no guarantee of success. It's very hit driven business, but so are startups. But it's the capital to get that hit is dramatically less. A $1 million indie game is like those indies are fucking happy as hell, right? And most startups, they're looking at 5 to 10 to 20 million dollars needing a funding, like, and it's almost the same potential, uh, you know, success model. Um, the only difference, again, it's just the stupid thing. The here it is. VCs are so for innovation. It's like, well, innovate on your damn business model. Stop requiring an exit from a company to succeed as a venture capitalist. Just take revenue shares or profits. Like it baffles me that there's no venture capital company that just like wants to succeed on profits, and that would be an insane model to me for um, you would have so many more bets in the indie space compared to for less financial backing required for potentially the same amount of upside. And if one of those small companies do get like there still is the potential that those small companies and indie games get acquired. You can have those Minecraft moments. Um, Even like the Campo Santo moments, like all these things. It just I don't know. I'm just a lowly indie dev in the startup space that gets angry at how much wasted money and value there is. Um, Games just isn't on the radar anymore, despite the size of the industry in terms of dollars. Games like Hollywood is much more linear growth, and they're looking for exponential growth. Yep. I went to the Campo Santo party of GDC in 2019. Nice. um, yeah, God, just the whole VC world, just it angers me, and just how little they like the indie game space is. It could be massive, you know. And oh, my dog is out. Hold on. All right, so I am testing my enchant armor spell. The idea is I enchant, and if I get attacked, it gets removed. It did not. Number one, I need to change the ability. I'm just going to put it to like minus damage. But yeah, I look at the whole like, Meta, Facebook, and like they spent like $80 billion on VR. I'm just like, Jesus Christ. $2 billion invested into indie games, and like the boom of games we'd see is unreal. And I do think like if I got super funded, like super rich off my game, and I could do that type of stuff, I totally would. I don't know. In the end, I've just stopped thinking about it. I'm trying to focus on making my own thing. So I think, yeah, exactly. I feel the same way. I can rant about it, but overall, it's um, I rant about it because I'm someone actively looking for funding, and I'm just annoyed with all the stupid shit that gets funded. But um, the market's the market. Got to move on. Yelling and screaming about it only does so much. All right. So, action manager, passive. Let's see, is this happening? I was really fortunate. I had a pretty successful career. Shipped quite a few games. I burned out on the last one and left in 2021 to teach. That's what I do now. I'm starting my own indie products so I don't lose my mind. Yeah. That's kind of the path we took, right? Like, so we started in 2015. It kind of sucks. Like we've had success in our careers, but we haven't really had like a decent financial success. We started out in 2015. We jumped in cold turkey. Around 2018, we did a mega jam for Castle Day, which is like a King of the Hill kind of satire game, and that's when we started building Vertical Third. Got our first mega grant for that, but it was 25K, so it was both for Vertical Third and Castle Day, so it wasn't enough to like focus on both, and we kind of just had that fork in the road, and we chose to go on tech, and we built the tech. We from 2019 to 2022, and from there we I think in 2023, I think it was, or something, we got our second grant, which was for 75K for Vertical Third directly, which helped us with a lot of our hardware and stuff. But Vertical Third is like, it's not profitable, right? Game tech just takes forever to adapt, and we don't have the biggest enough voice or any type of venture capital backing of Vertical Third to like really push it out there. And then after that, we did updates for the rest of 2022, and in 2023, we got to work for Epic Games, and we actually worked on education. And so we actually did the Coursera project for Epic Games, and we did courses 5 through 8 on that one. And so it's one of the things, but unfortunately, Epic Games had their layoffs. The day we started recording on a separate project, so we did the Boba Shop tutorial as well, which is for the in-editor 3D modeling tools. And this is like, it was directed at first-time 3D modelers, because you're kind of like all the Fortnite creative people who are in that space, like doing creative games. Um, they might be 3D modeling for the first time ever, and so that the Boba Shop was the first thing we do. The first day of recording of that Boba Shop, Epic had their 1,000-person layoffs, and so we didn't even know if we were going to be able to do anything on that. But luckily, we were able to. We had a really awesome lead that basically got us on board of not only finishing that project, but getting us on Coursera as well. But our entire education team that we were communicating with was laid off. And so all the education work has kind of dried up from Epic. And so I've actively been looking for education work too. No, I'm not going to have the money for UE Fest. It's kind of like tight right now. All right, so this did not trigger. Oh, did I even set? I didn't even set the. I didn't even set this properly, I think. Let's just start with 1. Oh wait, this is the wrong thing. But yeah, I've done a little bit of startup work for startups here and there, but it you know, it sucks right now. It just sucks. Okay, so is this going through now? Yeah, no, I like I enjoy teaching. I enjoy like being a part of, and that's what I was kind of getting at with how our career paths have went. And when I say we, it's my wife and I. We work together, um, and we started on vertical third, and the whole point of vertical third, right, is to save companies. It's like you can use a game architecture in different ways. You can use it obviously to power your game and have a bunch of pre-done solid foundation to do those things, and then you can also just use it for example projects, prototyping, learning, breaking things down, seeing how I used it, copying and pasting my code, those things. Like it's kind of in that educational space. And then we did like that Coursera project and stuff, and so like we're in that kind of teaching category of stuff. And for the Coursera project, we kind of had had really high standards for ourselves because we know we've been through learning Unreal and how broken ass the tutorials and stuff are. I don't even know if I'm hireable anymore. That's awesome. My stuff is interesting in stuff I do. Yeah, I know. Um, I had a point. I had something to say, but I can't remember. Can't remember what it was. It left me. The thing that bugs me again is the like you obviously have a huge advantage having multiple shipped projects, right? Um, and so that's a huge thing. Oh, that's nice. That's a lot of good stuff. Epic Mickey. Well, my kids loves watching videos on that. That's fantastic. Wonder Stop, nice. I love the. I haven't played the game, but I watched a lot of Twitch players do Wonder Stop. Nice. Yeah, this is an awesome art style. I remember those method soaps. We used to get those. That's too funny. That's not what I wanted. Okay, so I need to. Do I get here? The pre-2010. Oh, pre-2010 game titles. I see. Over the Hedge, yo. It's one of my favorite movies, favorite animated films. Terminator, Spy Hunter, nice. I always Over the Hedge. I always reference the time the squirrel drinks the energy drink. That's my favorite moments of all. I didn't even yeah. I didn't even know there was a game for that. The stylized head. That's really cool. I like the stylization there. It looks like you got a pretty low poly too, which is really nice. Like we're trying to do so. This is this is what I'm like doing. So we're marketplace assets, right? But we're trying to experiment. This is what I've experimented with for like we're trying to go into like elevated low poly. And so I've done. I haven't implemented the game at all, but this is like my idea for experimentation. So we got a little bit of cell shading going on. We got the outline kind of feature as well, and then through low poly, we're trying to like create actual anatomy through it all, and the low poly kind of phasing of the stuff. Um, and then we'll be doing like the hands are going to be stylized with just the index, thumb, palm, or whatever, no toes type thing. So we're trying to figure out ways to elevate on low poly stuff. It's got a long ways to go, but it's a start on things. And then these are like Cinti Studio assets that go with it. Um, yeah, mid poly. That's what I'm doing for the game I'm working on now. Yeah. There's so many cool things people are doing. I referenced this one like what is it called? I never remember the name of it. I think it's X Zero or something. Abyss X Zero. They're like doing some cool stuff. Abyss X0. They're doing some cool stuff within that kind of PlayStation 1 low poly look. We're not going to be quite as so-called, quotations chibi as this, but there's ways to really elevate that kind of low polyish look, and we still want it to be more, our character's obviously going to be more adult looking. But yeah, there's some cool stuff going on in the. It's the same thing. Like I feel like it's the same thing as like pixel art has been going through this like elevated pixel art kind of stage with Sea of Stars and plenty of other games, Owlboy, all those, and now I feel like it's low poly revolution of PS1 era stuff and elevating that style. And so that's something that we're going to experiment with. With polys like more like PS2 but higher, but basically making choices about does it make sense to do a high poly of this, or can I just do some bevels and get the same look? Exactly, yeah. And like just like that sword is like it looks cool. You don't need to really do much there to that. Maybe have better textures or something. A little bit, Same thing with the shields and stuff. Like, it all looks really cool. And then we can have like, when I switch to this model, that's when I can actually like when you equip something, it's going to actually appear on your character and whatnot. And that's the main reason, that feeling of progression. Because Cinti Studio stuff, it does prevent people from trying the game and playtesting because they just hate they've seen that those models all over the place. And so once I feel like my systems are all like in a good state, I'm going to work on getting my custom character kind of implemented. Yeah, the high-low project method. Like I've went through that process of doing the high res, the low res, and doing whatever it's called to like normal mapping and things. What? Hmm? It should be on the right beside my the bed table. So I try to reserve it for now for things I need to do instead of doing it all. Yeah, that's exactly why we're just using marketplace stuff, right? Like we don't want to invest into it until we really need it. And like if we had a shitty game but looked cool, like would people stick around? No, right? But we can have a game that looks mediocre but actually feels kind of fun and interesting, and people will stick around. Yeah, I can't help it. I'm an artist at heart. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Let me try this again. I should work if I just buff myself. That should trigger. So buff. Okay. That triggered. Remove. Go to passives. And then add breakpoint. And then we hit here. Enchant armor. Okay. That's the spell name. And then we go over to where's passive spawn? let's break here. Okay. It did not find. So what are we looking at? We're looking at phantom robes. So it's looking up the wrong name. So let me think this through. The spell name was enchant armor. What's being added is the proc enchant robes. Okay. So the action name here is, so we don't need that action name. We need the action name of this. So we need to do get data table row. No. Break action data. And then we need this name. Instead. Right, I can remove this. And this is false, so remove that. So it worked now. Purge we got here. Remove. Oh, what is the name coming through? It's not showing. Oh, I didn't even check the print. Because that's not showing up in the debug. Okay, the purge is not coming through. Let me just make sure these are the same. I think they have to be, but just to make sure. Okay, that's correct. And then so maybe we do wait, so this is correct. So we find the passive name. And this is the proc, right? Proc, yep, that's right. So we find that in passive stacks. Oh, I think I see the problem. So we're doing this too early. This needs to be after, at the end. Order of events. Problem. Because I'm clearing it as I do this. I think that's the issue. Okay, that got rid of the error. But I believe the purge is not working now. So let's break here. Let's see if it shows up. Proc Phantom Robes. made this a number one. This, oh shoot, let me copy that. Delete this. Delete that. Oh, come on. Crash. Okay. I should have clicked yes on opening my stuff. Stack component. And the passive component. And that's all fine. And so I am going to delete that. Copy this. File. Save. Delete. Promote to local variable. Local purge. Paste. And save. And let me do a quick test. If I now break this, that's not what I wanted. This is what I want. I did set the type right? Action specific, positive, names. Let's see if this is coming through. Okay. Oh, duh. This needs to be handled on both sides. So I need to put this, well, for now, let me clean this up a little. Let me clean this up. The gate's closed, right? I still want sugar to run out. The gate's closed. I'm making sure the dog doesn't run out like last time. Let me see here. I have a dog that likes to sprint out the door. And I was just making sure someone didn't let him out. Okay, this goes over here. So on this top one, this happens here. But I also want to apply this there as well. And for the sake of just testing, I'm going to copy and paste that code. And let's see if we're working. Because technically I have it set for 3 stacks. One, 2, 3. Damn. I better get going. It's time to find some dinner, I think. All right, cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for follow. Listening to me rant. Okay, it's not even coming down here. Is it going up here? Thanks for having me. Take it easy. Have a good one. Yeah, you too, man. And yeah, if you ever have time at the end of the month, join us for a play test. And I always end up playing with all my testers, and I stream everyone. I have a whole spectator mode. If you in our channel, should you decide you join, I do a lot of like spectating and screenshots of everyone as they play and stuff. It was a lot of fun just hanging out with people during a play test, and we get some cool screenshots of everything. A couple bangers. These are like pretty cool. Like that one. It's pretty cool. This is even coming through here? This is coming up as... Oh, did this not save? This did not save. That's why. Okay. Get data table. This didn't save for my crash. Stupid thing. And that goes back to, I was actually correct. I don't want to purge from here. Because it still has stacks. So I don't want to purge from there. So now let's see what happens. And 3. All right, so now we need to try and test this. Okay. Wait, it worked the first time. Okay. It's set to 1. I thought it was set to 3. So it actually is working, I believe. Just for some reason, the purge is not. Is there a purge server? Why is this not going to the. Why is the client not getting it? Finally, long weekend is over. Hello, Justra. You have a lot to do, a lot of just random stuff to do this weekend. So the purge is working. Yeah, I have some chores I need to do today. I wanted to try and get at least enchant armor done. Um, I'm almost done the damn enchanter. Almost every ability I worked on had like extra code to put in. Waiting to see. Okay, so it's not purging, I think. Maybe it's not purging. Action specific, positive. What do we get here? OP enchanter incoming, I know. The couple things I did, so I don't remember if you saw or not. So we have the stagger proc now. Stagger and damage. So enchant weapons is done. So you have like a stagger proc. And then I'm testing a few things. So on a lot of spells for the enchanter, once you get your crit, let me get a crit here. Your what the? Why am I not critting? Why is my crit broken? The hell? Okay, there it is. Your spells now based on crit can be area effect. So an R1 crit like stun, I think is around you, whereas an R2 crit will be around the target. And then I think, if I'm right, an R3 crit is targetable. So like the more control you have, the higher the R type thing. And so I had to do some code to like polish up, and it's like right click to cancel. I had to do some polishing on my ground targeting stuff. And I'm like, oh, I might as well take a break and polish this up because I can use this in other classes for mages and a bunch of things, right? So mages, clerics, and then click. Obviously, the animation needs to be fixed, but boom, goes over there. So, and it does that for the stun, but also the mesmerize, and then even the staggers, like the enchant weapons, will also be area effect on crit. And so you can do like group buff stuff. In EverQuest, you always had like the single target spell, and then the group buff was more expensive to do mana-wise, right? And so I think if I do what? Let's go. Just whatever. And so now an R1 stagger enchant weapons. I think I just it's area effect around me. I think. Oh no, I choose it. So now I can like, oh, everyone here, we're all going to get the enchant weapons buff for proccing stagger. And then R2 is a damage proc, and R3 is just a power stat boost. But the thing with the enchant weapons is they're going to be short duration buffs. They're going to be like 5-minute long buffs. And so you're going to have to refresh them more consistently. So it gives you that kind of feeling of, enchanting stuff. So enchant armor. We can't take on the boss. We need an enchanter. Yep. There's going to be a lot of classes that do crowd control. Like whenever I do a bard, bards will have a lot of mezzing capabilities. There's other forms in EverQuest. There's a lot of crowd control mechanics, and so like any class that gets a fear, the idea is snare kiting, and so you would snare a monster, reduce their movement speed, and then fear it. And so you can do those things. You can also just kite things in general by snaring them and running, obviously. Then hunters have their traps as well, which we'll expand on soon enough. All right, so on the stat, I need to see, is this actually trying to remove something? So we never get there. Which means we are not actually trying to remove it. Oh wait, that's negative? Oh, it's both. Okay. Do we get here? Okay, we get here. Let's break here now. Great. It's coming up as false. Okay, so this is the problem. It's looking for... I have a bunch of things looking at different names. So the purge... Okay, enchant armor. So if I put this to enchant armor as well, I don't think I can do that. But we need to do this proc robes, and then the name of this to also be proc whatever robes. I think that's going to fix the purge. When you're making like your ability systems and stuff, it's like sometimes you're referencing the core ability itself, but then that ability applies a buff or debuff, and you're referencing the buff or debuff you want to purge. I don't need that. Humna, humna, humna. Right, let me just make sure everything is set. So enchant armor is applying this. Let's see if that does it. There we go. So what I've been working on is enchant armor, and I want enchant armor to not be just a flat buff. I want it to be kind of charges, and it's kind of like more of a oh shit button or something like that. So you can put a buff on a cleric, and they take, maybe it mezzes a target, you know, when they get hit, or it snares a target when they get hit, or you can do you know, oh, the tank's about to die, so you can buff the tank, and the next 3 hits they take reduced damage. But it's very temporary. And so now we can do it for 3 hits. Now I don't have it to update stacks yet, but 1. Oh, it's because I have the cooldown high. So that is useful, that the cooldown's high. So it's not going to go off. So I do have additional controls over that. Proc enchant armor. Cooldown we'll just put to 1. One. Dodge. 2. Parry. 3. What? Okay, I did math wrong somewhere. Passives. is going on with my math? Two. So it's not updating at all. That's so weird why it's not working. Hmm. Index can't be changing. Don't think. It's 3 every time. How does that work? I'm getting to -1, and we're setting it.
You should make a purring pet and give it to yourself. Father.
Mm-hmm.
Food.
Yeah, give me a second, okay?
Okay.
Just finishing my thought, and I'll take a break. Hmm. I was talking to my kiddo. They're like, I want food. Damn kids and needing subsistence. Who do they think I am, right? Their dad? What? I have responsibilities to feed children? Huh? Food. Why is this not subtracting? I know. Is it done yet? This is so weird. Like, it clearly updates as 2. It starts as 3. It's 2. So I set it to 2. So I set the array element on passive stacks to 2. And yet it doesn't update it. What's going on, yo? And this should only trigger once, right? Set the stacks. So the stacks aren't being updated anyway. And only when I apply it. So on first application, set the stacks. So it only happens once. So it's not continually being updated anyway. And the purge is working now, so I don't really need to worry about that. And then the passive spawn. I'm baffled. Like, I get the number. It's the same number I'm getting here. I'm subtracting 1 to make this 2. And I'm setting it to 2. Yeah, so I have it working on 1 hit, but when I set it to have 3 hits, it's not counting down. It's just staying at 2. No, it's this math for some reason. I don't know if it's just um, like this is all triggering. Like this is the 1. If there's 1 stack left, it does it all fine, right? But we don't even need to modify the stack numbers at all. It just purges it. So if it has 1 stack, you minus 1, and it's 0 equal to 0 or less. Then we do a purge on the buff, and we basically clear the name from the passes with stacks kind of array. But then we're like, okay, if it's not less than 1, we come down here, we get the value, we subtract 1, we save the value, and then we update the array, and it should be 2. And it does set it to 2, but then the next time around, like for some reason, if we do this the same print over here, this is so it comes up as 2 here and 3 here, right? I think it's always coming up as 3. It's just 2, 2, 2, 2. The first time it came up as 0, which is weird. Or is that the index? Is that what I'm doing? No, getting the value. Oh, I'm not getting the index. I'm getting the value. I'm getting the. Okay, I see what's wrong. This needs to be here, not from here. I was getting the index, not. I was using the value as the index, not. All right, that should do it. Give me a second, okay? I'm gonna take a break soon, and I'll be able to look for one. Check in these stand-up dresser things. Check the drawers of in the corner. No, the tall thing. Yeah, look in the drawers in that one and the other one as well. 1, 2, and a 3, and it's gone. There we go. Mechanic implemented. So we can now just go, let's take this, save all, close to the right. And so this proc I can just take the stack component here, and like I could do a Okay, proc enchant armor. This needs to change to self, I think, right? Direct target. Targeting self and self. And then this stat change is now in this case it wouldn't be if I'm doing a random stat, I don't even think I need a proc. I need to think that through a little. Or maybe I just put it on the enchant armor buff. So like on this enchant armor stat change, I could also add, or I just make another one. I could do, like I think Enrage has one, Enrage Resist, right? And maybe that works. It might not. I have it for basic procs, but I don't know if I have it for flat stat changes. 1, 2. Okay. Let me think here. Enchant armor. To enchant armor, that gives this stat change.
Yo, Dad,
Mm-hmm.
you want to split this with me?
Yeah, sure.
Because it's on in the freezer, and I'm like, I'm down to eat
Yep.
that.
Does Jaden want half of it or no?
They don't like this.
Okay.
They don't like lasagna for some reason.
I think I have to do tags. Instead of names. So I have it working for working. Um, and this might, I might not even need to do code changes for this. It just might be a certain workflow. So enchant armor. Does this, which adds a passive. which grants the stat, the passive thing. So we go from enchant armor to stat change enchant armor to the proc enchant armor, and then the stat change of the actual proc, which hits the enemy. I'm thinking. So is this become just a different stat change thing? So if I look here, hmm, yeah, I think so. I have two different versions of potential enchant armors. One is a passive, which I've implemented. The other is just a stat boost. All right, well, I think I'm going to just call it here. I got the main thing I wanted done. This is going to just be I'm just going to remove this for a second. The passive hit stuff is working. So now This is just, I'm going to put down here. Next task. Empower for defensive attacks. Get hit. Enchant armor. Grants, plus 20%. Resist all for 3 attacks. No passive ability required. Uses empower system. Of course, the empower system is only for offense right now. My hamster's running right now in my head. Let me take a quick look at. So the thing to remember is when you're on a stack component in the vertical third, it's for the user getting hit. All right, so get action owner, get the empower. So I could make a. So all we're trying to do is track really hits. We can obviously do it for hit, dodge, block, parry. I'm just trying to find the right category to put the data. Empowers. So how I use empowers in vertical third is if you have some sort of buff on you, whether it's a passive or not passive, that that does X, Y, Z, and so you could have a passive that increases your fireball damage by, you know, 100%. And so when it hits, it's looking for the empower from the target gets hit. It reads and searches. It gets hits by XYZ ability. It reads from the player who hit them for any empowers that that player might have and applies them accordingly. So really, I just need to add to the calculation a or I need to just do the same thing. I just need to create a so in stat change mod, I need to hit the same approach of if this is a buff of some sort of stat thing, which is mostly duration-based stuff. So basically all of these, so apply the original buff as normal. Which is all of these things. These are all just standard stat stuff. Just flat stats, whatever. And then when we apply them, we would create an empower. So I could have two categories of empower. All right, I think I need to like eat and something. My brain's not processing. It's an easy add. It's just a matter of where and how to classify it to be proper. I've done the harder part too, which is the funny thing. I've done the harder part for getting a passive, then counting it down, yada yada yada. And I already have. Let me look up an empower. That's what I wanted. So if instead I did empower, I could have just an empower offense and empower defense category. It might just be that easy where I just put in it to the damage calculation. So if I just stuck resist all here, all right, I'm gonna have to come back to this. I'm gonna do some fancy stuff. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna take a break, eat, probably do some chores, and come back later. So I'll see you then. Take care.